Hey hunters, Lord here, back with another Monster Hunter World and Iceborne video. Now, items in Monster Hunter can be quite overwhelming while you're learning the game. You might have questions like, what should I bring? What items should I bring to craft other items? Should I bring the same thing for every hunt? Etc, etc. So, in today's video, I'm going to be covering items via category, with the categories I'll cover being items that you must have in every hunt, items that you should have most of the time, items that are situational and will only benefit you in a couple situations, and then bowguns. We'll go over each item in the fullest, covering what the item does, why you need it, and the best way to get it. Now do note that most of the items on this list will be either meldable at the Elder Melder, they'll be obtainable through the Steamworks, or they'll be craftable with materials from the Botanic Research Center, so if I end up saying those things a lot, here's your warning. I'll also show a bunch of my example loadouts at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around for that. Now our first category will be the must-have items. These are items that, regardless of the hunt, quest, monster, or situation, I think you need to bring with you. But before we get into the video, I wanted to let you know about today's sponsor, tomtoc. Tomtoc and Monster Hunter Rise have collaborated on an amazing collection series that involves some really cool sling bags that are officially licensed by Capcom. They were kind enough to send me both a Palico everyday carry bag as well as a well-done steak bag. The Palico bag came in this really pretty buddy box, which showcases both Palicos and Palamutes. Now this bag has more than enough room for my Switch, as well as games, even a controller, and still has 2 more pockets. And the well-done steak bag came in this awesome replica supply box, which looks so cool I'm actually using it as a display piece in my office right now. Now this bag is perfect for smaller items. I personally just traveled abroad, and this would have been perfect for carrying my passport, contact cases, headphones, and other small items that I would have needed during my travels. Both bags came with detachable slings, making for easy everyday carry as well as storage. If you're interested in picking up one of these bags, or any of the other bags from their Monster Hunter Rise collection, be sure to head over to the Amazon link down in the description right now. They're running a 20% discount from March 18th through March 31st, so be sure to pick yours up as soon as possible. Huge thanks again to tomtoc for sponsoring today's video. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. Now up first are healing items, as you should never leave for a hunt without some way to get your health back. Ideally, you should always have at least 10 mega potions and 2 max potions in your inventory. This is especially true for the early game, as potions are going to be your only way to heal, as you won't have unlocked health regeneration augments for your weapon yet. In the early game, I'd also recommend bringing 10 regular potions and, if you can, 10 honey. This way you can craft 10 more mega potions, and if you don't have honey, you'll actually have another 10 regular potions to heal yourself. Now the best way to farm up honey and herbs to make potions and mega potions is from the Botanical Research Center, so be sure to complete any optional quests you get from the Research Center. You can also find these by using your map and searching for gathering points, then looking for honey and herbs, although this is a little bit more tedious, and the Botanical Research Center works in the background while you're completing quests. If you're going to be playing multiplayer, Life Powder or Dust of Life will make your life and your fellow hunter's life much easier. You can use these to heal yourself and your entire party, so they're great in a pinch. If a teammate gets pinned, you can use these items to save them from a cart while they're unable to heal themselves. So for me, this is a must-have in multiplayer. Again, like I said earlier, a lot of these items can drop from the Steamworks and Celiana, so make sure you don't forget about that. For example, here's one run of Steamworks that I did today, so you can see how many insane healing items, food items, tickets, and armor spheres I got. Be sure to do your Steamworks. Another must-have, in my opinion, are flash pods. Even though these were nerfed a little bit in Iceborne, these are great for getting knockdowns on flying monsters, and can be used to get yourself an opening when the monster can't target you because it's blinded, which can allow you time to heal, sharpen, set up traps, and what have you. Now, I'd also highly recommend bringing another 10 flash bugs to be able to craft more flash pods, as you never know when you might need another. Again, you can get flash bugs very easily from the Botanical Research Center. The next item that I always bring are null berries. These little blue berries will cure any elemental blight inflicted on you by a monster, so keeping these handy is a must-have for getting rid of things like dragon blight, which handicaps your elemental damage, Water and Ice Blight, which hurt your stamina, or Thunder Blight, which makes you easier to stun. I always keep 10 of these guys in my pouch, as they can easily be cultivated in the Botanical Research Center, and I have thousands of them. The next item you should always keep on you are dung pods. These can be used to get monsters away from you, so let's say you're fighting Anjanath and Rathalos decides to come and beat you up as well instead of helping you beat up Anjanath. Lord knows why he'd do that. But you could hit him with a dung pod or two and he'll fly off, letting you hunt Anjanath one-on-one again. These are a must-have, and trust me, when they work, you'll be so glad that you have them. Again, you've heard it before, you'll hear it again. You can farm these super easily from the Botanical Research Center. Up next are the Power and Armor Charms and Talons. These give you a flat damage and defense boost as long as you keep them in your inventory. Now, the Power Charm and Armor Charm can be purchased directly from the shop. Now, do note that they are a bit expensive, so this might be one where you wait a little bit to buy it. Don't spend all your zenny right away in the early game on these. And to make these into the Power Talon and Armor Talon, you'll need to buy one more of each charm, so you have 2 of each, then combine one of them with a Basilgeuse Talon. You can carry both charms and both talons in your inventory, and they do stack. Another great item to bring is a Farcaster, as this item allows you to get back to camp at any time, even while you're in combat. These can be made by combining Excite Shrooms and Smoke Nuts. Again, these are going to be cultivatable at the Botanical Research Center. These are great for getting yourself back to camp to restock, or for getting yourself out of a sticky situation. Now, the final item that I think you should always have, unless you're using bows or guns, are Wetfish Fins Plus. These sharpen your weapon in just one swipe and only have a 10% chance to be consumed on use, meaning you'll get multiple uses out of just one, and these are easily obtainable from a Master Rank 1-star event quest called A Fish to Whet Your Appetite. These again are much quicker than a whetstone that you automatically get, which eliminates the need for speed sharpening skill or needing to eat for feline polisher. You can carry up to 5, and like I said, they only have a 10% chance of being consumed on use. You'll likely never run out during a single quest. So that's it for the items that I think you must have on every quest. Up next is the should have category, where these will be usable in enough situations that you should probably bring them most of the time. We're going to start off with shock and pitfall traps. Unless you're hunting elder dragons, you should keep a shock and pitfall trap in your inventory at all times. You can even bring stuff to craft more should you need, as traps are great for stopping the monster and creating a big window for you to deal damage, as well as being necessary to capture monsters, which you may just want to do or you'll need to do for certain quest objectives. The best way to get these is to buy trap tools from the stockpile, then cultivate the other stuff for combining them at the Botanical Research Center. Staying in that same vein, Trank Bombs are great to have for capturing monsters. You need them. Once a monster's weak enough, and if it's not an Elder Dragon, you can hit a monster with 2 Trank Bombs or 2 Trank Shots with a bowgun while it's in a trap, and it will be captured. The items needed to craft this stuff, again, will be cultivated in the Botanical Research Center, and they can drop from the Steamworks as well. Now, the next should have items are attack and defense buffs. Now, I personally don't carry any defense buffs, but just know that each of these attack buffs that I'm showing you here have a defensive counterpart that you can bring if you'd like. Mega Demon Drugs, Might Seed, and Demon Powder all stack as buffs. If you eat a Might Pill, it will override the Might Seed. And if you want to learn about how much buff you get and how long they each last, check out my Hidden Values video, link in the top right now. The next item are Ancient Potions. These can be easily farmed in Steamworks, but you also need Kelby Horns if you plan to craft more. These fully max out your health and stamina, making them a great addition to your loadout if you're able to farm them. These are great if you cart and can't eat a meal, for maxing out your health and stamina until you can eat again. The next item I think that you should have are Mega Barrel Bombs. These are great for supplementing wake-up hits, as you can get a lot of damage out of these. Imagine, if you will, 4 hunters in a group, 2 Mega Barrel Bombs each, and one of them running Greatsword. Now the Greatsword does the double damage wake-up hit, then you get 8 explosions, and then you get a wall slam. This is massive damage, and it's 100% worth bringing on any hunt. So that's it for the items that you should have. Let's talk now about situational items that will only work in a couple of instances, but are good to know about. First are going to be hot and cool drinks. Now this is going to depend on your environment, as hot drinks will help keep your stamina bar topped up for longer in cold environments, and the cool drinks will keep your health from slowly draining in hot environments. Like most consumables, you can farm materials to craft these from the Botanical Research Center, or you can just buy them outright at the stockpile. Another great item for a couple situations is Astera Jerky. This item heals the red portion of your health bar, gives you faster red health recovery for a small amount of time, and heals bleeding status. This is going to be great to have against Elatrion, since his Eschaton Judgment takes your green health away but leaves you with red health. This can also be helpful against monsters like Ruiner Nergigante and Odogaron, which can apply bleeding to your hunter. These can be purchased relatively cheaply at the stockpile. Another situational item is the Screamer Pod. Now these work great against Diablos and Black Diablos, as it forces them to the surface anytime they burrow, giving you a pseudo pitfall trap. Now these can also shortly stun Nargacuga when he's not enraged, but will immediately cause Narga to become enraged, so use these widely. You'll need Screamer Sacks to craft these, which can drop from the Noyos, the small wyverns in the Wildspire Waste, or you can just simply meld for them. Now quite a few monsters can poison you, so being sure to bring something to deal with that against those monsters, as the last thing you'll want is to die because the poison ticked away your last bit of health. I recommend herbal medicine usually, as it's much quicker to use than antidotes, but you could also bring herbal powder for hunting in a group. Another great item to have, especially for large monsters like Safajiva, are poison smoke bombs. Now these can actually poison large monsters, which can really help with dealing damage over time. For example, Safajiva takes 2,000 poison damage over 60 seconds once he's poisoned. By just bringing some of these poison smoke bombs and tossing them at Safi, you can literally do thousands of damage in the background while still being able to do your normal attacks. Definitely don't sleep on these guys. Next up, we have regular smoke bombs. Now these are great, especially for Fatalis, as he easily loses sight of you in the smoke, and he actually has a really long searching animation which allows for tons of free damage. These can also be used to get Elatrion to land. If he's flying around a bunch, you can just hide yourself in the smoke, and oftentimes he will land. The final situational item is for bow and dual blade users, which is Dash Juice. This reduces your stamina reduction speed and is great for both of these weapons. You should definitely bring this if you're planning on playing either of them, and while these can be a bit obnoxious to farm the materials for, you can easily meld these at the melder. Now our final category today is bowguns and bows. Since these require ammo or coatings, making sure to bring the specific items required to craft the ammo and coatings is paramount to keeping your damage up in fights. If you only bring the recommended amount of ammo, you're going to have to go back to camp to restock much more often. But if you bring stuff to craft more ammo as well as the full amount of ammo you can hold, that's way less traveling back to camp to restock and more time kicking monster butt. Good items to bring include empty files and nitro shooms to craft power coatings for bow, gunpowders level 2 or 3 for your raw ammos depending on if you're using a level 2 or level 3 ammo, and then the element-specific plant to craft your extra elemental ammos. I'll show some examples of my bowgun sets next, as we'll be covering some of my sets, what I use, and why I use them. So finally, here are some example sets that I personally use on a day-to-day basis. Again, you don't have to copy me, I just want to give you some examples. Up first is my general hunting set, where I rock just anything I need for my normal melee weapon hunts. This is about as broad as can be, so that way I don't have to set up too many specific loadouts for each map or monster. Next is my bow and dual blade setup. This runs almost identically to the general set, just includes some extra stuff to craft power coatings, as well as some dash juice for stamina management for each of these weapons. The next example set is for my Pierce 3 bowguns, however this will work for any level 3 ammo, just change it to spread or normal. As you can see, it's roughly the same as the last two, just with the ammos I need to shoot, as well as stuff to craft more Pierce 3 ammo so I don't have to restock as often, if at all. Here is my sticky set. Again, it's the same vibe, just with stuff to craft as many sticky 3s as possible. Next is my Diablos set, as I love hunting Diablos, so I have a very specific setup for him. This includes all the stuff I'd need for any melee weapon to fight him, as well as Screamer Pods and stuff to craft more Screamer Pods. Now here's one that's going to be, again, more of that situational vibe, which is my Elatrion Counter Light Bowgun set. This includes all 5 elemental ammos, materials to craft more of fire, dragon, and ice ammos. It also includes poison smoke bombs, Astera Jerky, and materials to craft up to 5 extra max potions, so that way I don't have to worry about carting to Eschaton Judgment. Finally, here's an example set of a single elemental bowgun set, where I have materials to craft more ice ammo. I also have screamer pods and stuff to craft more screamer pods since I use this against Diablos from time to time, as well as all the regular stuff I need for a hunt. Alright guys, I hope this guide was very helpful in teaching you all about items and loadouts. If you did find this video to be helpful, do go drop a like down below, as it's a totally free way for you to support the channel and helps to spread this content to other hunters. If you're new to my channel, new to Monster Hunter, or if you liked what you saw today and you're looking for more, then definitely go ahead and subscribe so that way you never miss an upload. I cover tons of Monster Hunter content just like this, so if you liked it, chances are you'll like what's to come. With all that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I wish you all a good day and happy hunting.